This is Xpod 97 presents Daredevil Reborn. Excuse me. I'm fucking with you guys. It's Daredevil Born Again. At this point, it's just part of my gimmick. So
we're just gonna call it that on the podcast. Just
yeah, we're just gonna keep calling that. Of course, I am Marcos at the Sunset Kid 56. As you guys already noticed, Rand is not here, but we have the next best thing. We have Derek, aka at Cap Caveman. Derek, how you been?
I've been great, man. Been great, covering a lot of baseball, and really enjoying this Daredevil series, man. This thing popped off this week.
It is crazy. As you can see, I'm wearing my Punisher tee.
Yeah.
And it's very appropriate as to why I wear this tee. And before we jump into it, I just want to shout out the store where I got it from. It's G _ resale 101 on Instagram. Go give him a shout, a holler, like his post, whatever. He has good gear there. Anyway, back to the show. Daredevil Born Again. It is amazing. Jesus Christ. So, of course, we're off the heels of last week's episode. This week's episode starts off immediately with like dropping seeds and with bangers. First of all, we are immediately moved to the prison where Dex is being moved from solitary confinement to Gen Pop. I believe that is a problem, but it's all good. So when you saw him pop up, were you thinking like, "Oh man, I thought he was done"? How you felt there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought it was a wrap for him, and then getting moved to Gen Pop seemed like, well, that is a wrap for him.
Yeah, but it's like he's still, it's on the cusp of, does he have the powers? Does he, is he superhuman? Obviously, he is insane. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll get back into that hopefully, because they're not going to just show him and not, do anything with him. So then we basically start off with Dr. Glenn having an argument with Matt. I assume this is a couple weeks after the whole shooting and everything, and she's up and about. And Matt is trying to sympathize her, and she goes anti-therapist. She's like, "You wasn't there, Matt. Like, you wasn't shooting with me in the gym." Like they had a little bit of riff, and like to the point that Matt was like kind of subdued. And the doorbell rings, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll get it." And then who do we see? We see Fist's right-hand man asking for Dr. Glenn. And then before we even get the whole before like Matt has a chance to like do anything, basically Dr. Glenn is invited to what I like to call the Fisk prom. He gets invited to this ball, and basically a black and white fundraiser for Kingpin. At that point, Murdoch is like, "What the hell's going on?" Yep. Like when you saw that happen, were you like, finally? Did you think it was going to be like like, yeah, they're not involved type of thing? Like, does this prove that the Kingpin knew that they were together, or it just happens to be coincidence?
I don't know. I still don't know. I think I go back to our discussion about it originally, and I don't think that was necessarily the intention out of the gate. Like, I don't think that, him and his wife going to therapy with her was like, that was what they were had some grand master scheme cooked up. However, it's almost like a very much in Matt's face. It's almost like making her choose a side. You know what I mean? Like that's what this feels like.
And it's like it puts this what is a brand new relationship like on the brink of like having issues. You know what I mean? Like it's already stressful. Like having a tragedy that happened to her, that could put a stunt on a relationship, because it's like, man, like, you just having fun, and then something really, really serious happens to the person you're seeing, and then you're like, like, do I really want to like deal with this? And it's like, add that, and then all of a sudden we get Kingpin walking Vanessa down to, what we assume, the way that they cut the whole, we assume that Kingpin is coming down from the roof of Matt's apartment.
Right.
Like I was like, what the hell is this? But then all of a sudden, it is his lair,
Yeah.
and then you see Vanessa, and then your homeboy, Mister locked in the cell. Adam is like,
Old Adam.
Vanessa, I didn't know. Like, help me! Like, come on!
Yeah.
And then Kingpin is like so cocksure. He's like, Vanessa, I told you I didn't kill him, and then, and she basically
that's a wild flex, by the way. It's
yeah.
a wild flex to be like, oh, I told you I didn't kill him. I just have him trapped in a cage with a Rip Van Winkle beard. Like, what? That's crazier than killing him. Killing him might have made more sense. It might have not only been logical, but it might have been more sane than trapping him in your underground layered prison.
Like chained too. I believe, isn't he chained up or something?
I think
something
so.
crazy.
Yeah. Unnecessarily behind bars and also chained up.
It's like, yeah, I just want to be triple secure. You never know. Last time a guy got away from me, so now it's chain and bars. Come on, you got to think ahead.
Well, again, what's wild and that makes this even crazier is he's feeding him, right? I mean, not a lot, not well, but he's feeding him enough to keep him alive. And that just, again, further makes this crazier than just murdering a person for infidelity. I don't know. Call me old fashioned.
Oh man, like it's one of those things. It's one of those things that you're like, oh man, like I don't know what he expected her to do there, but she did what actually surprised me. I don't know if it was out of fear or out of we talked earlier that she just doesn't care. She's just trying to manipulate Fisk. She grabs a gun and kills Adam in cold blood.
Yeah.
Basically I don't even know why you still a factor. Do you think she enjoyed the fact that she pulled the trigger?
Well, I think she's more ruthless than Wilson, right? So I think there's that. But you could look at it a couple of different ways. Again, it's insane to keep a man locked up in your underground prison layer, right? So shooting him ends this and puts a finality to it, right? But there's also a loose end there. There's a man that you've been keeping captive, and should he somehow find his way out, that's going to cause problems for the mayor of the city that he was keeping a man captive in a cell, right? So the last thing you need is that dude out telling the news what happened to him and spilling the beans on that, right? So I don't know if it was her being humane and putting him down because of being trapped there and being locked up like that, or if it was her, just ensuring that once again they don't have a loose end here with good old Adam. She also could be sick of the holding it over her. It seemed like killing him was a way for her to be like, we're done with this, let's kind of move on. So I don't know, there was a lot of different ways that you could look at it. I feel.
Do you think he would have taken action if she would have been like, oh my god, let him out, and then embraced him? Would Kingpin would have killed both of them right then and there, you think?
Oh, he ain't killing her, man. We know that. He's a simp for that woman.
He'd
probably break his neck, but and would be heartbroken, and he'd be all mopey, and we've seen that version of Kingpin before. So I think that that would have been problematic, but I still don't think he would ever harm a hair on Vanessa's head.
So I think this episode is very important because you start seeing their different worlds imploding upon each other, both Fisk and Matt. Matt what I didn't allude to earlier, he gets into an argument with Dr. Glenn and about the anti-vigilante views, and that's also on top of that. And then all of a sudden Fisk is at this point he's exposed to Vanessa. Vanessa knows that Fisk is not on 100% up and up anymore with the whole Adam situation. It's kind of like what they've been keeping a secret for what seems to be a better part of a year for most of this season is now out in the open. with the exception of Matt's identity, but it's like it's a situation where it's like, man, like they don't have like a shelter to run to like, oh, let me just be here, like and like even if you think about it, Matt's world imploded because now he knows that Kingpin knows where he's at and knows who he's dating, and then it's already implied that the Kingpin knows who he is, so he's like, shit, like I can't even like like I can't be
Not
up
a
there
moves
like
here.
like I can't play with my nunchucks or like whatever like
I
like
can't go do karate on the roof anymore, I guess.
yeah, it's like god damn it. And then to add to Morris on his plate, his actual partner sits down and speaks to finally gets a face to face with Matt. It feels like for the last 3 episodes, no, excuse me, for like since episode like 2 or 3, they've barely seen each other. Like I want to say this has been weeks of it. Like I got shit to do. Like let's talk about this later.
Yeah.
And then not only do they have a conversation, he learns about a couple things that he didn't know about the night Foggy died, and it's connected to like Dex and all this stuff. So tell me, what do you think about that scene that he had with his partner there?
Well, I felt like, first of all, this was all coming to a head, right? We talked about how bad he's been as a lawyer and a partner, right? But the minute that the additional information starts coming out about, Foggy, he starts realizing, that he was kind of going down the wrong path this whole time.
Yep.
I think that's the initial inclination here, but I also just found it amazing that, I don't know, like in superhero shows and movies and stuff, these normal people that have to put up with their person they know having this secret identity and being a superhero, they usually just put up with it. They might be frustrated. They may be like, oh, but like, this is finally like, nah, I can't do this anymore. And I like that. The fact that all this, we've been talking about this a bunch this season about how Matt's just dipping on his responsibilities in his real life. And, we see that come to a head with his partner. But I mean, once we start getting down this path, I felt like things really started to pick up as far as like, the intrigue as to who really was behind this and why Foggy's death took place, which we never really have ever addressed. I mean, we saw it happen. We know Matt went into like a spiral, but we know like there was never any like, oh, they just assumed, well, Bullseye did it and that's it. He did it to get to Daredevil or to Matt.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is like after this, finally eye-opening conversation with his business partner, he's walking, he goes to Josie's, walks in, Josie's like still like, I don't know, it's like it's funny because it like is telling of the economy, because she's like, yeah, I'm still trying to rebuild, like god damn it, it's been a year of some change and I'm still like they ripped up my entire place. That goddamn Daredevil.
We still don't have that women's bathroom working yet. You know what I
mean? and Matt, you can tell Matt is spiraling because he just starts having shots with them. And then in true like anti-hero hero fashion, as he's drinking, all of a sudden clarity hits. And he's he's like, the information about Foggy. He's like, wait, he was celebrating. He wasn't like randomly thinking. And then and then in what appears to be like a time jump, Matt just like appears in the prison, and like he must be such a respected lawyer because he just pulls up and like sees whoever he wants in prison. Like
oh, Murdoch? Yeah, go ahead. Who'd you need to see? All of them? Any of them? Whatever. You go in and have your pick.
It's like Dex, a guy that he literally had issue with. He killed his best friend on record, whether he's Daredevil or not. And they're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. He's like,
not there as Daredevil. He's there at Matt Murdock who is very much Foggy's best friend.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, the Joe's like, it's cool.
Sure, go ahead, go in and talk to the guy that murdered your best friend. No problem. We're not even
like this is cool. And then he puts his hands on him.
Yeah.
He starts beating the shit out of him, and it's like after he gets some questions, and then he gets the guard.
Yeah.
Like, is nobody looking at this
Yeah.
person? Like
It's
he
that
busts
blind
him
thing
open.
again, man. They were like, "Oh, that's nerds. There's no way he did that."
Yeah, they're like, he's blind. The guy probably tripped, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like he waved his cane around or something. It's like so
Oh man.
he finally gets some information, not a lot, from Dex, and it's like, all right. And then we move forward to this awkward ass ball. The black and white ball. And then it's like,
Which
what's
Matt was not invited to, right? Matt's not technically at this point. She was not bringing him with her as her
he
plus
didn't
one.
reply. He didn't
Yeah.
reply. He basically gave her the middle finger,
Yeah.
disappeared, and was like, screw it. Like, but then, like a crazy ex is like, well, I know we're having issues. I'm just gonna pop up at a work event for you, just super weird for no reason. But before that, we get Mr. Nepo Baby himself, Gallo, excuse me, Mr. Nepo Baby himself, the sidekick of Fisk, having a conversation with the media director. And basically, the power dynamic there switched so quickly. He's already like talking shit to her at the bar, and she's like, what's going on? He walks back, doubles down, like verbally pretty much pulls out his penis in front of BB and is like, listen, like, you know what this is. Like you better watch what you're doing. Either you're down. Basically, in other words, says either get down or lay down. Like it's no in between. Like what do you want to do? And he's like smiling. She's visibly shaken. Like this entire night is like it's a coming out party for this new Kingpin-esque Wilson Fisk.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout this party, he starts outing, he starts pulling. Like, you don't even know if this is like a Wilson Fisk-esque situation. It's more like he's playing politics.
Right.
He's pulling dirt on anybody.
We saw him earlier at another function kind of getting punked by these same people, right?
Yep.
He came in as mayor, thinking he was going to have these conversations, and they kind of showed him who was really in power, right?
Yep.
So this felt like the tables being turned, right? This is now Wilson fully in power, and he's bringing these guys in. Basically, again, it's not the threats necessarily, but it is the threats. It is it's the lay down or get down, or get down or lay down kind of thing that you were just talking about.
It's like the state, like Fisk has been part of state property now. Like he's just and it's like the way he's doing it is so gangster. It's no physical threats. It's kind of like, hey, I know about your offshore accounts. Hey, I know you're the swordsman. And first of all, when he outed that dude as a swordsman, come on. Like when you look at him, you're like, holy shit, he is. Like
he is.
Mustache and everything. Like, this guy walks around with a fencing sword and it's like, on God.
Well, and that's like a weird vigilante, right? That hasn't really been addressed, but we've seen it through like the BB videos and things like that, right? So yeah, that was a great twist that you're like, of course he is. Of course that's exactly who he is.
But then like if we double back, we get like the iconic like cinematography here. We see Wilson Fisk come in with the white Kingpin suit,
bro, straight off of a cover of a comic book.
Yep. And then we get Vanessa with the red. It's like she's the devil and he's like Death, the pale white horse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like after we get that introduction, we go back to prison. And like I'm starting to think, after watching this episode, is this Matt's fault?
Is what
it has to be Matt's fault?
All of this?
No, like what happens when we shift back to the prison where Dex, he's in the infirmary because Matt beat the shit out of him.
Yes. Yeah.
And it gives him an opportunity. First
Mhm.
of all, his kills are smooth as hell. The
Man.
doctor's like, "Oh, we're done." And then the guard comes, talks shit, and then he opens his eyes and smiles. And what was it? Was it a bullet or a tooth that he
Tooth.
shot at?
He
Teeth.
tooth.
It
He
might
ripped
as
the
well have been a
tooth out.
bullet.
Yeah. I thought it because he had a bloody mouth, right? So like
Yeah.
he ripped his own tooth out in order to use it as a bullet, right? And like again, that's what's so weird about Foggy's death is that this guy don't miss. He
Yeah.
does
He's
not
mellow.
miss. Yeah, he's like mellow, right? My man is like taking, forceps and stuff and using them as weapons. And you see guys that it's in an eye, like
Yep.
these guards, these doctors, they're all dead, and he didn't miss on any of them, and he's using pedestrian instruments to do so. And you mean to tell me that he didn't do a kill shot, headshot on Foggy?
Come on.
I'm
Yeah.
still
Like
suspect about that.
it's starting to add up that something's afoot. And then he takes the guard's uniform, gets on the freaking bus. Like, you're telling me nobody's checking anything? Of course, it's super dark. Of course, the bus lights are off. And it's
Yes.
like, I guess because I'm not an unassuming white guy, like, they're like, hey, where you going? Where you going, bro? Like, he has bruises
Sometimes
on
when
his
you're
face.
Caucasian, you're like you're invisible, man. I'm telling
Like,
you.
gets on there, doesn't bat an eye. So many, like, if anything, I refused to believe that nobody recognized him. I think there was this one guard that was like, not my problem. And just went to sleep. Like,
I
I'm
know what
not
that
doing
guy can
anything.
do. I ain't messing with him. He can go as far as I'm concerned.
And then we get a weird conversation that goes a couple scenes. We get Vanessa and Dr. Glenn talking.
Yeah.
And she basically is like just reeling her in, like, listen, can we count on you? And then to my surprise, she fucks with them. Like, she's like, yo,
Was that
I mess
surprising
with
to
you.
you? I mean,
But it's like,
I feel like that's been the conflict between her and Matt for a while here is like she's had very anti-vigilante rhetoric, but then she's
mhm,
also, been very protective of what's going on with Wilson, as her client, right? Like
yeah,
she's all about that client, patient doctor confidentiality and all of that, right? So, but it's a problem because this isn't just some dude that Matt doesn't like. This isn't a guy that keyed his car and they got beef. Like,
yep,
this is Kingpin. Like, this is one of the most dangerous criminals to ever exist. And the fact that you're just his therapist and you're in here, obviously empathizing at the very least with him and in his position and what's going on with his wife, that it's a conflict, it's a problem, right? But then it
yeah,
goes further because it really does feel like it's dividing the two of them. And here we see further that she seems to once again be more on Kingpin's side than she's on Matt's side.
yeah. It's one of those situations that you're like, come on, man. Like, like you're rooting for him. Like, I think at first, I guess my naiveness at first, I'm like, oh, she's one of those people. Like, oh, let's see what happens. But then it's like, even after all this, knowing he's a criminal, knowing all this, she's
Yeah.
basically like, no, that's my guy. Like, she drank the Kool-Aid, she's full on board. She's about to like be 100% like down with the cause. And then of course Matt comes in like the toxic boyfriend that
Yeah.
he is,
Yep. Just
and
shows
then
up
like
uninvited in a
shows up
tuxedo, owns
like,
a
no,
tuxedo.
I think he was invited, but he never confirmed, and
Yeah.
like pops up
Right.
like if she would have invited something else, he would have been like, why you invite them? Like, I told you I was coming. Like, is there a problem? Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Why didn't we? Huh? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those situations where you're like, it's weird as hell. And then
Matt, you're
she's like,
embarrassing me in front of the Kingpin.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, he's like in mid conversation, like, huh? And she's like, bro, you're not even listening to me. So,
Well,
like,
because he's using his supersonic hearing powers to listen to a conversation going on in the other room. And even though right in front of him, she's like, hey, are you listening to me? He's like, uh-huh. clearly not listening to you.
Yeah, but it's like I love the fact that you finally had that awkward moment. You know what I mean? That they don't do in superhero shows a lot. That it's like, no, he's perfect. Like, no, he literally got caught in a
Yeah,
situation that a
yeah.
common person is like, "Are you even paying attention?" And he's like, "Huh?" I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. Like,
Well, and that's been the common theme with Matt throughout this whole show, right? And that's again why what makes this show so good is there's this
mhm.
reality to it, there's a humanity to it. There is a life that Matt is trying to lead as Matt Murdock that he is not doing a good job of. He is spread far too thin between the things that he's doing and, again, wanting to still be vigilante adjacent while trying to lead that normal life again. And yeah, something had to give, and what's giving is his everything, all of his relationships in his real life side, on the Matt Murdock side, right? Like his relationships at work, his relationships with his significant other, they're
Yep.
all suffering due to the fact that really at the end of the day, his vengeance, his drive for revenge is so strong that here in this moment, even there, he's supposed to be there with Dr. Glenn, and instead he's not. He's just using it as an opportunity to be there to keep an eye on Kingpin and figure out what the actual plan, what the plot is here of his
Do you
little sovereign nation that he wants to build.
do you think that Dr. Glenn would be like if Matt says, "Listen, this and this and this and that," and reveals everything? Do you think she'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm team Daredevil," or you think she'd just turn around and just be like,
Hmm.
Fisk, like assuming that Fisk doesn't know and be like, "I got the story to tell you. He's pariah number one. We gotta take him out."
I
Like,
don't know. I don't know if she would do that. I don't know if she would go that far, but I
mhm,
don't think she would be that accepting either. Like I think there would
okay,
be some place in the middle where she would harbor anger towards him and she would want to not like maybe break up with him and not be with him anymore. But it doesn't mean that she's instantly going to be like, "Hey, Fisk, you should off this guy." Like I do think though that the secret, like keeping that secret from her and her finding out would be probably enough. And then the fact that she does seem very anti-vigilante, right? Like
mhm,
this would be like finding like my wife finding out I do all these podcasts and finding out she's very anti-podcast host. Like
yeah,
we might have a conflict if she
yeah,
found out secretly that I was doing this. She's like, "Oh, I hate podcast hosts." Like it may not be enough for her to divorce me, but she's definitely going
yeah.
to think differently of
She's gonna
me.
be like, those
Ah,
podcast
those
hosts.
podcast hosts.
But there has to be like, do you think in her mind, in her universe, like, if you put yourself in her shoes, do you think she blames Daredevil for what happened to her? Or does she see him as her savior? Or does she
Hmm.
feel like if Daredevil didn't exist, therefore Muse didn't exist, and therefore this would not happen to me? Or is
This
she like, this is a bigger situation that goes beyond him? Because
that's it.
you assume that as a therapist, she would think logically, but as a human being, she's like, I got hurt
Yeah,
and directly affected by the one thing that I was scared of, and I thought that we should get rid of vigilantes.
yeah.
So, what do you think she's thinking in terms of that?
I think she thinks of Daredevil and Muse as the same.
Oof,
I think
that's
she just thinks of them all as being these masked freaks that take justice into their own hands or take whatever into their own hands, right? Like, so I don't think she thinks positively of Daredevil. And I don't think that after that experience, she's like giving him credit for saving her.
yeah,
However, I think that's also just the fact that she has already been so firmly planted in being anti-vigilante, right?
mhm,
And again, she might not necessarily be as staunch on it as I'm suggesting, but it very much feels like that. And like I don't know, like you said, sometimes in life your personal feelings take over and you're not
yep,
going to be like, "Oh, hey, this masked guy that tried to kill me was cool, but then this masked guy that tried to kill him and then pulled me out is okay." Like you just might be like, "What a bunch of freaks. I hate this city. I want to get the hell out of here." Like that might be how you feel in general overall. But also, I mean, you kind of just lump people all together sometimes, don't you? Like it's one of our greatest problems as human
yep.
beings sometimes is
They're
like
like they're all the same. That
they're all the
honestly,
same, you
and
know.
it's like I think it's driven by people's personal beliefs, their upbringing, and everything. That they're
Yeah,
just like, you know what? I'm
absolutely.
gonna make
Ignorance
sweeping
too.
assumptions. on everything.
I think that
So,
when you don't know people and you don't know, like some of my best friends when I was in high school were Middle Eastern, right? And
mhm,
then we went through September 11th, and like there was a lot of Middle Eastern hate in this country
yeah.
for obvious reasons, right? But it sucked for me because I knew these guys, I knew their families, I knew they were good people. I didn't associate them in any
And they're
way.
probably not even
Right, yeah,
they're not even from the
they're
same
not like
region.
a different country and everything, right? But that's not the way people thought. People just lumped everybody into one.
Yeah.
They were all from that part of the world, and they were all enemies and dangerous to us, right? So it's like people can tend to be stupid when it comes to something tragic happening, whether it's on a large scale or to them personally, right? And in this case, I think because it happened to her personally, she's like, honestly, fuck all of them, fuck them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but also, Wilson Fisk is kind of preaching to her, cleaning up all of this. So when you talk about her buying in, drinking the Kool-Aid, it's a bit easier considering what happened to her for her to
Yep.
be like, oh yeah, let's get rid of all these freaks.
Yeah, and it is it's a situation that, mirrors real life nowadays, but that's a different podcast. That's a whole
Yeah,
different thing.
we
We're
could
gonna
do
keep
that for
this
hours.
light, keep it with fictional stuff. So, after the Kingpin does his thing, it we already know that the task force is there. Some uniforms, some in regular dress clothes. They're enforcing, they're like no pictures, no press, no anything.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, some random waiter gets caught taking a picture. And the task force, what looked like at first, they were just gonna dump him. They take him to the kitchen, people are just like working, whatever, and they threaten the guy, and the guy's like, I know my rights and blah blah blah. And like they were like, he's like, you can't take my phone and all this shit. And then while all this is happening, you see Gallo, the police chief, walk in, and then he's like, what are you guys doing? And then, like, before he can even do anything, they put this man's hand in a freaking fryer, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what? Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy to me that you are the vigilante task force and you're engaging in vigilante tactics
Well,
for
it's
no
because
reason other than being cruel. Like,
they were the worst of the worst, and they all you put these dudes together, they're just gonna feed off of each other. Then you
yeah,
give
they're
them
like,
unsanctioned power, like to just do whatever the hell they want, and yeah, it ends up with a waiter getting his hand fried over taking a picture.
yeah, and then it's like it's crazy because then they pretty much cucked the police chief. They're like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like,
Do
how much
something.
power do you got right now?" And he's like, "The
Yeah,
task force is not forcing me." And it's like, "Hey, we gonna talk to the kingpin? You gonna tell the kingpin?" Like, it's crazy how these guys go from like, "Man, I just think we gotta crack skulls and all this stuff," to like, oh, let's just burn this guy's hand for the rest of his life just because he took a picture. Like, he didn't
yeah,
even break a crime.
yeah,
He violated a rule of a party.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like people are doing coke in this party. There are people, like, it's still a quote unquote on the up and up. Like, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like nothing is crazy is happening in front of in closed doors or nothing. But this
Well, like you
man's
said, it's in the kitchen with other people working, right? I mean, how stupid is this, especially considering that these are like the Kingpin's goons, and like how often can you go in and act like this and then not expect that to get out, like not expect it to spread that, hey, this task force he got broke some dude's leg last night, fried this dude's hand,
yeah,
pushed an
like
old lady into the street in front of a car. They're
and
crazy.
it and it's like the punishment doesn't fit the freaking crime.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a
You're never
sudden,
gonna take another photo ever again.
and it's like, what? Like, what are they gonna chop his hand too? Like, it's like,
Uh,
bro, I get like whatever happened to a classic beatdown, like beat him
yeah.
down, throw him in an alley. No, they disfigured this man for the
Well,
rest of his life. He's
they thought they
probably
were going to
gonna,
beat up a blind dude and he kicked their ass. So, I mean, they're
yeah, like
probably still
it's
angry
like,
about that.
geez, Louise. But like, I get it. For that, it was like they were like, oh, it's our job. But like, this guy did not do anything to them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
Yeah.
equivalent of him bumping into them or stepping on their shoes.
Well, and that's this episode had, moments like that where it really just wanted to show how excessively powerful the Kingpin and those goons had become, and the fact that they are willing to do that over a guy taking a picture just goes to show they're gonna do whatever the hell they want. They're gonna hurt a lot of people.
Yeah. And then we get, the scene where the New York police officer, or it was unclear his uniform. I think he might have been NYPD because he got reports in a prison. Called the mayor's side guy, our guy, the man behind the man. It was like, hey, yo, Dexter's gone, or he's gone. Like, we don't know what to do. Bullseye is on the loose, and then, which I thought was a very smart. You can tell he's a capable number two. He immediately goes, hey, Fisk, man's is crazy. So you better and then Fisk is like, don't worry about it. Just find out where he's at.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're talking, my man is already in the kitchen grabbing a knife. Now, this is where I want to know where he got this. And maybe I missed it in the watch because, we're trying to get these episodes out as quick as possible. Where did he find the rifle?
Oh, he killed one of the security guards that were up there because they had
so the security guards up there had rifles.
Not security guards, police officers. They had snipers up there in case there was any problems. So they had snipers.
What?
And there was
snipers at a party.
There was a dead. Yeah, there was like a dead. He used the knife to kill the guy. So yeah, that's probably the detail you missed was there was a dead police officer with like the knife in his eye, I think, and then.
I apologize, guys. I apologize to the Geekscape.net website. First of all, I didn't mention him earlier. Second of all, thank you guys for hosting us and putting out our pod content weekly. We love you guys. Go check that website out. And yeah, I totally missed that. And then he's like, it's like riding a bike. Gets the rifle. And did what happened next surprise you? Matt hears first of all, my man is focused on Kingpin. How the hell does he hear that? But hey, that aside, does it surprise you his actions next? When he
we had him first, right? Like, didn't he before that, didn't he cut in and start dancing with Vanessa, or was that that was at this point? Because that's when he reveals to Vanessa that he knows what he knows and he figured it out, right? So but I mean, first of all, Matt being so aggressive like that on the dance floor at Kingpin's party was
and the thing about the people that are just there, they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, who is this dude? He just grabbed the first lady of New York City and he's like, oh, bitch, let's dance. Like,
but what's funny is there's 4 of them involved, right? And 3 out of 4 of them know exactly what the hell this is about. And Kingpin knows, Vanessa knows, and Matt knows. So that's what's so good about this scene. Not to mention going back to the cinematography, like you said, and the iconic white suit. Like, this scene again felt right out of a comic book, and they did such a good job of making this look like these amazing moments. Because if you've ever read Daredevil comics, there's a lot of moments where in the comic they're like it's like a spotlight is on them. I don't know if it's part of Daredevil's like comic lineage or whatever, but there's a lot of things in the comic book when there's panels that look like the 2 characters just have spotlights on them, and that's what we got on the dance floor. We get Matt with the big reveal to Vanessa that he knows, and then we get Matt, like you said, hearing the gun and saving.
Do you think, like, part of me thinks that because Fisk was dancing with Dr. Glenn, did he jump in front to save Dr. Glenn, or he knew it was versus Kingpin? Did he do it out of some sense of duty? Like we have one more episode left, so we don't know what the outcome is, but it's like, do you think they did that like basically to show that his duty, or he just leapt first and like didn't think, like his instincts kicked in?
Maybe it's that. Maybe that he's just such a hero that he had to save someone's life and he knew that he could. Maybe it's the fact that he knew that if Kingpin got murdered, that Vanessa would be maybe an even more ruthless overlord. I mean, without him in the picture, I don't know. I do know that like there is a factor here that Matt doesn't usually do things without knowing exactly what he's doing, right? So I don't know if it was unintentional. It just felt like just what a great climax this was for everything that we've discussed this season. When you talk about the duality of these 2 guys, they literally came together in this moment for Matt to save Kingpin's life. And all we've been talking about this season is the fact that despite one's a hero and one's a villain, they've been walking very similar paths. They've been, walking down this path of trying to essentially be a good person in society that contributes, and instead they keep getting drugged back to their,
and it's like
right? And like, here it is again, though. Here's Matt being the hero and saving Kingpin's life, and once again, it's like their lives are so entangled with each other at times that they can't separate, and Matt somehow ends up saving the life of his biggest, nemesis.
Do you think he outed himself there to Dr. Glenn? Because, we got one more episode, the season finale. We don't know. Like, do you think, like, why would a blind lawyer?
How would a blind lawyer know a gun was getting shot? I don't know. I mean,
like I'm rewatching it in the background, and it's very clear that he jumped in front of Fisk.
Yes.
And then, it's a great,
because it's like
great, it's a great scene that Fisk has the blood, and Matt is laying there. Dr. Glenn is like, you can tell she still cares about Matt. Like, she wants to, even though shit is fucked up, she wants to work it out. And then Kingpin just kind of like drops Matt and then grabs Vanessa and is like, let's get out of here. He's like, I don't, his task force whisks him away. He looks up. It kind of feels like he locked eyes with Dex, Bullseye, like so many things. It's like, and then the shot of like Matt, they showed the footage upside down, and it's like all red, and it's like him drowning. Like, it's great. And then the music that they chose and everything, man, the only thing I'm gonna say is I'm excited for the final episode.
Yes.
It is gonna be crazy. The reason I'm wearing this shirt is because, according to the rumors, according to everything, my man plays a part. I don't know if it's a part. I don't know if it's an after credit scene. I don't know anything, but I'm sure to watch. And, once again, I appreciate you, Derek, for being in my jumper seat, to be my yin to my yang, I guess.
I got the X on today, man.
Got the X on today, guys. Once again, this is Xpod 97 presents Daredevil Born Again.
Reborn.
See?
No.
It's all good. It's all good. We got it. It's either or. Look it up. Google it. Once again, this is a Geekscape.net podcast. Thank you to the people out there. Derek, where can they find you, man?
You can get me on Twitter and Instagram at cap_caveman with a K, and do the steel cage thing for pro wrestling, Xpod 97 for geek stuff, and of course over at PHNX_DBacks for all baseball related.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Another episode. We'll see you back next week. Might be a little bit later than usual because I am kayfabe traveling. Hey, WrestleMania season. It's gonna be amazing. But guys, we'll catch you next time. Peace. In the Middle East, I guess. I don't know. Last episode coming up. We got you guys later. Hey, this is Marcos. Thanks for supporting the Xpod 97. We now have merch, y'all. Grab a t-shirt, grab a sticker, grab a hoodie, or even get a mug for one of your relatives or something. I don't know. Rep the greatest X-Men podcast on the planet. We love doing what we do, and we want to continue bringing you weekly episodes. So don't forget to rate us and always subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest drops. Thanks again. We appreciate everything. See ya next time.